welcome back to At the Table. This week we have a lot of Batman, because clearly DC can't put enough Batman out. We have Spider-Man, because you really can't get enough Spider-Man, and just some overall series and other stuff. So, let's talk comics. Hello, and welcome back to At the Table. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jason, father and son team, back talking comics.
Yep, and we are bringing you our weekly comic haul for the week again. So, before we get started with this week, let's go ahead and talk about last week a little bit.
Yeah, there were a lot. Well, I felt bad for you. You didn't have nearly as many reads as I did.
You can say there's a lot for you, but
there was a lot for me, and I had some great reads. I think you had a few reads, but some really good ones. So why don't you go ahead and jump in? What was your favorite?
My carpool pick for last week, if you all watched that video, my carpool pick was Batman 0 Point. I love Batman 0 Point. It's been such a great read. I love Fortnite. I've jumped off it a little bit, but it's still, in my book, it's still an amazing game. I like it. I'll definitely play it. And I really hope they add in some more Batman content into the Fortnite, going off with this a little bit. But I'm really excited about this book. I think there's one more.
I think that there's at least one more. And this book has been a lot more fun than it has any right to be for a crossover book like this.
Yeah, because, like, in my opinion, now, I could have the wrong opinion to some people. I think this blows Marvel's crossover out of the water. Because there's an actual story.
Story-wise, you're right.
And it's actually like Fortnite lore. It's not just this crossover book that's never going to mean anything.
Yep, they're actually digging in and giving Fortnite a story. I can't believe it. I never thought that I would like a Fortnite crossover as much as I have. Tough choice for me, but it was a fun. I mean, we had Basilisk and we had this one, which I'm gonna pick as my favorite, which was Tinian's the nice house at the lake. Wow, what a number one. Usually number one comics are a lot of them I find are a slow burn, and I don't, it's rare that a book just jumps right into it like this one did. I won't say it was entirely surprising the way that things kind of shook out in that book, but they didn't waste any time with just giving us all the information up front and just jumping right into the story. And before you knew it, things got just wild and crazy and post-apocalyptic in a strange way. And I can't wait to see what's to come in this series.
Okay, so those were our favorite picks from last week. Let's go ahead and get in with my carpool pick. So, it was between two books. I'm going to be honest. I read one at the comic store and then one in the car.
We're not going to add a comic store pick, but we'll keep the carpool pick.
I got better than him. I got 4 picks, right? I got 4 picks now.
You do have 4 picks. Everyone wants to hear your picks anyway. No one cares about mine.
So, for mine, it's going to be a shocker because it's one of my 2 favorite writers. We got Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man, Spider Shadow. Spider Shadow has been amazing. I love the take on it. I love the art. The story has been amazing. This book in particular, like this issue, was really, really good. It was one of my favorites out of the whole thing. And I really enjoyed it. I would definitely read this book.
And did you hear the news that, I don't know if you heard or not, or I told you, but the What If series, it looks like it's going to become a regular part of the Marvel releases. So we may get more fun kind of what if scenarios like this book. So that is your carpool pick of the week?
Yep.
All right, why don't you jump in and give us your first top 3 of the week? What are you excited to read, buddy?
So, I've read 2 of these already because I was waiting for them again. I'm going to go ahead and get started off with the number 1 of the week. It is Web of Spider-Man number 1. This book, I didn't know what it was until he told me. It's basically this book where Tony Stark, it's like Strange Academy, but instead of Doctor Strange, it's these inventors and it's Tony Stark.
Yep.
And it's really cool. Peter Parker's in it, and he has like a bunch of these different friends and people in it. The kid from Iron Man 3 is in this book, too.
That's what excites me. Harley Keener, who makes his first comic book appearance in this issue, which is one of the ways that I found out about this book and then thought it would be pretty interesting to read because maybe they're hinting at maybe they've got something bigger planned for Harley in the MCU coming up. I mean, he did make an appearance at the funeral in Endgame, so he was in that. So Iron Man 3, that appearance, and now he makes his way into the comics.
Yep. You want to get started with yours?
Absolutely. I'm hoping if this is half as fun as Strange Academy, I love the idea of a Strange Academy-like book, but with Spider-Man and some other young scientists. I love that angle. I'm going to go with Maniac of New York number 5. Now, I finally caught up on the series a couple weeks ago, and I really liked it. It was, I'm not usually like a horror fan. I won't say I don't like horror. I'm not pulling a John here. Sorry, John, we can't stop picking. But I usually don't like slasher type stuff, but I've liked the way that this comic has dealt with it and kind of made this character a force of nature and how people deal with that and their quest to stop him. issue before this, number 4, was pretty horrific. Thing, and people were trapped on a subway with this guy, and he was just mowing people down. And that all kind of came to an end, and I think he got away. I didn't see any more issues after this on preview, so this might be the series wrap up. But it's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to how it concludes.
So this is my unofficial comic book store read, Strange Academy number 11. So I read this one as soon because I remember last one was amazing.
Last one was the field trip to Asgard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great read.
All of these have been amazing. Scotty Young, I think, does the rating on this one, doesn't he? You're going to hear that name come up a lot, but he's a great artist. He's a good writer in this. The character development and everything is amazing in this one.
I know the solicit says that people keep dying at the school, so I'm guessing like there's more trouble in the halls of the Strange Academy.
Yep, it was really good.
So do I need to move this to the top of my stack?
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to that one. I'm going to go for my next pick. This is another series that I recently caught up on. I read 1 and 2 back to back, but Geiger number 3. This is in sort of a post-apocalyptic world where they have this mysterious hero, this glowing hero they kind of talked about and refer to, Geiger, obviously. I enjoyed it a whole lot. I kind of wish that I had had 3 by the time I finished 2, which is the sign of a good book when you immediately want to read more. But I really like the character's origin story, kind of getting into how he got to where he is, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yep, so for my last book, we have Challenger the Super Sons, number 3. This is a shocker. I don't know if I've ever talked about the actual series or not. It was one of the series I read starting off with reading comics. Amazing. I was really sad they aged Jonathan, but I love this series. It is so amazing. I'm definitely going to keep reading it.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the book a lot too. It was one of our first, that original series was one of our first father-son reads. I think that was an early recommendation from John at the comic shop to kind of get us reading Father as Son. And it is a great book. I don't know how long this is going to stick around. I do hate, like you, I hate the fact that they aged Jonathan up. It ruined an otherwise great dynamic and a very kid-friendly weekly or a monthly read from DC. I'm going to love this book as long as it lasts. So for my final pick, another book I've been reading a lot lately. I've kind of moved some things around in my schedule, freed up some time so I can actually read some comics. But I'm going to go with The Joker, issue number 4. All my buddies kept telling me that the first few issues of this book were really great. Definitely wasn't what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting a book centered entirely on the Joker, but there's a whole lot of this. At least the first 3 issues were very heavy on Gordon and his kind of what the Joker has done to him in his pursuit of going after Joker. A little bit of Batman in the beginning, a lot of Oracle in it. I've just really enjoyed the story, and we left things in number 3 in a very interesting place when he finally did track down Joker, and it wasn't what I was expecting. He kind of gets himself into a bad situation, and it's going to be curious to see where this book goes.
So that's our picks, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's get started with our variants.
Yeah, let's save that one because I think that one's my favorite.
I would probably say the same. I'm going to go with one that's probably a shocker if you've already seen it out. It is Venom number 34. I know it's crazy.
A second printing.
Yep.
I'm guessing they just kicked this out to kind of remind everyone that Venom's out there, and we're getting our last issue of that. The number 200/35 is next week, right?
Yeah.
So definitely 16th. On the list. It's on the 16th, yeah. So Venom, it's anything with Venom pretty much goes right into our buy pile. So we saw that on the variant rack and made its way into the stack.
Okay, so next up we have our Stormbreaker RB Sylvia. It is a Heroes Reborn cover, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, these I love it and hate it at the same. I
know.
love these Heroes Reborn.
I love the covers, but I don't like the story, but I love the covers.
Well, we keep buying Heroes Reborn because they keep putting out Stormbreaker covers.
And just other cool covers in general.
They've put out and we do buy books occasionally just for the covers that we like the art. You'll put them in a hard case and put them up around your room or yeah. So that one we've definitely put that one in the Stormbreaker collection. Bought it for the cover.
So next up we have Beta Ray Bill, second printing number 2. So this has been an amazing read again. It's just been so good.
While it's a cool cover, not a series we bought just for the cover. We love this series.
We do.
So probably, I hate to say it because I really like Donny Cates and I like that Thor run, but I'm actually enjoying this book more than the main Thor run right now.
I'm enjoying it more than Thor run too.
Beta Ray Bill, he just has so much more heart, right? And it's just I don't know. I can't. It's kind of a personal story for him in this quest that he's on.
Yeah.
So really enjoyable. This continues to surprise us.
You want to go over the last variant of the week?
That is our 1 in 25. Probably my favorite variant that we picked up. 1 in 25 Incentive. I think that's the Smallwood. Did the cover according to my notes. It's another cover that just really highlights the different appearance that the Venom/Spider-Man has taken on in this What If story. It's very menacing, very arachnid looking. So I really like the different visual that they've gone with in this What If.
Yep.
All right. So that was, not a super heavy week variant-wise.
Yeah, but not also. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I like scoring the Spider-Man 1 in 25 and scoring that second print Venom. Mm-hmm. They were cool covers.
You want to go over our normals for the week now? You can go ahead and start with the first.
All right, so I finally remembered that we prefer the B covers on these, but we are behind on this series, but Wonder Woman 773. So this was another one. I'm slowly clawing my way back and catching up on Batman, but I have not caught up on Wonder Woman since Future State. We were both really enjoying this series before Future State kind of hit the big old pause button on us. So
yeah.
We're a few issues behind, so I'm kind of looking forward to jumping back on this.
So, next up, we have Batman Urban Legends, number 4. This book has been amazing. It's a bunch of different stories in some of them. It's been really great. Chip Zdarsky writes a story, too. I gotta read it because he writes some of it. It's been so amazing. The art's been good. The stories have all been good. I'm definitely going to keep reading this.
The art's been pretty cool, too, in these.
I'm 1 issue behind. I've read 1 and 2, so I gotta catch up and do 3 and 4, but it's been really good.
No, I wonder how you could possibly fall behind on keeping up with all of the Batman stuff that's out. Luckily, we like Batman because there's a lot of it. So the only thing that I don't like about this book is it's $7.99, I think, is the regular price. But to be fair, you get a lot of story. I think there's like 4 stories in there.
So, you want to go ahead and talk about the next one?
This is Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal number 2. I am actually current on this. I really enjoyed the fun, kind of unique vibe of number 1. She's kind of a rogue of sorts, kind of traveling through time to different points in history, stealing precious artifacts and stuff. And she gets caught up in this craziness, and her ex-husband is also on the scene trying to basically take advantage of the stuff that she's finding or to get in her way, and she's also being chased by the law. And at the end of number 1, it kind of dropped on it that one of the people after her was her sister. And it's pretty weird. Her sidekick is basically a disembodied head that's hooked up to a computer. It is a crazy book. I really like this cover, too. This cover makes me think back to Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey when they're playing all the games against death. It just made me laugh. So I'm hoping this one is a fun read like the first one was.
Okay, so for our next pick, Iron Man number 9. I believe we hopped off of this for a while. But
I'm not sure we ever really jumped on this new Iron Man run.
No, we didn't, but we recently read Iron Man Annual number 1, and it was really good.
Yeah, we enjoyed that, and we have been I think we talked about it last time, we've been a little bit dry on some Marvel titles outside of a couple of real favorites we've been looking for, and we decided to try to revisit our favorite father-son character in Iron Man. So I know we're jumping in sort of in the middle or near the end of an arc, but I'm looking forward to it, and we'll do our best to jump in, catch up on some summaries, and follow this title for a little while.
Yep, so next up, Batman Detective number 3 out of 6. I don't know much about this.
This is a standalone series with Batman kind of dealing with a personal case. I'm behind in it too, because again, a whole lot of Batman out there right now. Now, I did finally start catching up on the regular title, which hopefully by the time that one comes out, we'll be all the way caught up. We can talk about that. And I've started to catch up on, I think, the regular detective book. I'm still not all the way there yet, but I'm getting closer.
Okay, so next up is Ant number 12.
Yep. And I will admit that I read an article, I think it might have been on Bleeding Cool, about this. I had never heard of this book, but then I started reading about the crazy history of this book. And I was more interested in the backstory about the huge gap in these issues. I think I read there's something like a 14-year gap between the last issue of this. So what's happening is Eric Larson originally partnered with a guy named Mario Gully on this book. They had some type of falling out. This guy was also in and out of trouble. He got sentenced for robbery. So long story short, Eric ends up buying the rights to this book back. So after all of these years, we get number 14, And then I think either next month or the month after, he's relaunching this with a brand new #1. It is a crazy story about the rights to this and like the huge gap and all of that with what was going on with it. So I wanted to check out the book that had caused this crazy backstory.
Okay. So next up we have Justice League Last Ride #2. So all I know about this really is that it is a Justice League story and Chip Zdarsky wrote it. I know there's someone about Lobo who's going in like a lawsuit or something.
Well, not a lawsuit. He's on trial for killing the new gods. So it's Chip Zdarsky. That's why we jumped on it. I mean, we don't dislike the Justice League, but we don't actively read a lot of those books. But this is a limited run. It's set in a kind of indeterminate future, and it's at a point where, for whatever reason, the Justice League are not super getting along right now. Batman and Superman are kind of at each other again. Shocker. But they all have to come back together to protect Lobo to get him to the point where he can go on trial for killing the new gods. Interesting premise, but primarily we bought this because of Chip Zdarsky.
Next up, we have The Amazing Spider-Man Part 2. Ooh, I should start doing it.
Yep, this is the Chameleon Conspiracy. We're behind. We laugh about it most weeks. And we will certainly read some of the new Spider-Man stuff, like that Web of Spider-Man #1 before we catch up. But we are going to have a concerted effort to kind of catch up on the regular title. Because I know we'll like it once we actually sit down and read it. It's just, it gets to a point you fall so far behind, it gets overwhelming and hard to dig out.
Okay, so I'm going to start with what I think the covers look like.
All right, go for it. These are always entertaining.
Bloody Baker.
Bloody Baker. Proctor Valley Road, #4. This is another series that I've been sitting on. I'm not current. I hear good things. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is limited. So at this point, I may just sit it out and wait till and read it all. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like this from what I hear. So it's stayed on the pull list.
Robber Dude Stealing a Diamond.
Black Hammer Visions #5. I think this is Skullboy. I have not jumped into Black Hammer yet. It is on my list. We've got a bunch of the trades. Your mom loves this series. It's the closest thing to a regular, quote, a regular superhero book that she'll read. She really likes it, and she likes this enough that while she normally waits for trades, she'll read these single issue.
Batman with a bunch of other weird people.
Detective 1037. Like I said, I am struggling and trying to catch up. I really, really enjoyed this. We both were really super enjoying this one before Future State hit. I need to try to catch up. Every time I do catch up on one of these DC books, I end up having a really great time. I'm sure it'll be the same with this. I just need to make the effort.
So, for our last book of the night, I'm going to go with D&D Party for this summary. Magic #3.
Magic #3. Now, I am current on this, and I'm not sure I'm going to stay on it. We like Magic. We haven't played a whole lot lately, but we love Commander. I like the lore. It's gotten to be a lot with all the different sets, and it's gotten super pricey, so we haven't been playing as much.
Better just buy a cool comic book.
Yeah, it's been hard to buy random packs and take a risk versus just buying a comic we're guaranteed to like.
Yeah, it's like a gamble versus, something.
So we have settled on more comic. But I still like Commander, and the Commander decks are a great value, and it is a lot of fun to get people around the table. In fact, I think we're going to do some Commander videos here on the channel soon.
I want to be in them.
But long story short, this book isn't grabbing me. I'm not sure if it's the art, which I'm not super fond of, the way some of the characterizations are of characters that we know, even like, I don't know. It's just... It's okay is the best way to describe it. I'd love to hear from other Magic fans. Drop a note in if you're a fan and you're really enjoying this book. Maybe I'm just not getting it. I'm going to read this one. If it turns it around, I'm going to keep it on the pull list. If it doesn't, I'm probably going to drop this one, which is surprising because I don't know that I've ever dropped anything from Boom Comics off our pull list. So that's for the regular comic haul.
Yep.
So you know what? I do want to take a chance to talk about... You actually read it. There was a book I want to take a minute and do an honorable mention to. It is an independent book. You remember the one that I put in your hands the other day?
I remember that book. I don't remember the name, but I love the story, and it's really cool.
So we read, if you've watched he's not reading it yet, but if you've watched any of our recent videos, you know that I've absolutely loved Stray Dogs. So I'm a sucker for dogs, or our dog, just dogs in general.
Dogs are great.
Dogs are amazing. Cats are okay, but dogs are awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. So long story short, we love Stray Dogs. We've been talking. I was over on the Discord channel for the IRCB podcast, the Ivory Comic Books podcast. Those guys are great. Jake and I listen to some of their live shows, listen to the podcast. But one of the guys over there recommended, after me showing so much love for Stray Dogs, that I check out this book in the series called For Molly by Gabe Ching. So I went and I tracked it down, and I found it was kickstarted originally months back. So I went and I looked at it, and I picked up the prequel, which was Into the Wilderness, and that's the book that I gave you. And I can only best describe this. It was almost like a series of D&D type rangers who had dog partners. Yeah. And they could talk, and it was in this sort of future world where things had gone wrong, and there was a war at some point between people and dogs, but now they had these companion dogs, and they're working with people, and they're going through and kind of patrolling and keeping people safe in the forest. What a great read.
Yeah.
Amazing read. So, long story short, what makes it so cool is I'm waiting. I loved the prequel. I'm going to wait for the Stray Dogs finale. So, and then I'm just going to slow roll the rest of the regular series because I know I'm going to love it. I've gotten enough taste of Gabe's writing and the art style, and I'm hooked. So I think you're going to read that with me. It's not as dark as Stray Dogs was. But anyway, I really wanted a physical copy, so I reached out on Twitter, just a shot in the dark after I realized we missed the Kickstarter. Ended up having a great exchange with Gabe. And long story short, he had some extra copies. We exchanged information, and we've got some signed copies. So that book's on the way for a copy for us and a copy for our buddy Mickey. Yeah, it's a great story. The writer, Gabe, was an awesome dude to deal with. And the IRCB guys said they've had him on. We're going to have to go back and look up the episodes because we haven't been listening all that long. See if we can find the episodes that he was on and listen to those podcasts. But great guy. Love the comic. I just wanted to throw that out there as a great example of you may not always find your next favorite read in the typical places. So there's a lot of small creators, local conventions. Those guys are out there pushing their stuff. Comixology, Kickstarter. Ask around, but there's some amazing stuff. So don't forget about the smaller creators out there. I am so happy that I didn't miss this book. So maybe we'll start trying to focus some of the smaller stuff and try to steer people towards some of the cooler stuff that we can find out there. So that's it for this week.
Yep. Thank you for watching. If you've been enjoying the content and want to stay updated with everything, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Give us one of these. If you've enjoyed this video, comment what we're doing right, what we can improve on a little bit.
Yeah, and if we're missing some books or you think we're just totally wrong or we've missed the point of one of the books, drop a comment and let us know, especially if you have a recommendation. We are always looking. I would love to find the next Into the Wilderness or the next Formali type of small creator book, or even just something that we've missed. We are always looking for the next favorite father-son read. Yep. So thanks for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Yep. Bye.